Sure, he made up for his mistake with a goal, but
it worries me that's going to be a bit of a tale of the season, because when you do win the title, teams start to understand how you play, and it's not just that; it's also the pressure is on you this season. You've really now got to consolidate. I think you're going to be leaky at the back. Can you see that, or do you feel it was a...
I can, to be honest. And we drew one game in pre-season, and if I just saw how the team played, just really poor mistakes. Both Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold got absolutely done over by Leeds players, and no disrespect to the Leeds players that they played well when they exploited the defence. I don't see, or at least I would say for the first 10 games, I don't think we'll see a strong defence. I think it's going to be a bit iffy, and then I think it will bed down to that point, right, around, we are champions. And also it's just that fatigue as well. I think it's just mental fatigue, not kind of physical fatigue, but mental fatigue of just kind of doing what we did last season.
Your next two games is Chelsea and then Arsenal, and both of them obviously off to good starts. So I think it's going to be... It's going to be tough. Come through them two games and you actually have clean sheets in both. I think that will be putting you right. It's wrong, but I don't see it. But let's see how it goes. Yeah. Okay, guys. So below me, I quite enjoy this. Where is he? He's not here today. He's decided not to show up because he's in 8th. It's Captain Russ. Captain Russ is in LA today. He can't be with us today because of the bushfires. He's escaping on his stand-up paddleboard from the boat. So I think hopefully the boy will be all right. But he is sitting in 8th position. He can't be happy with that. 35 points. And quick look at his team. I mean, he had Ramsdale in goal. Aubameyang was his only real star player, 14 points. And I think he just defensively got it wrong. Walker-Peters with the 1 point, Davies 2. I mean, I feel like...
A lot of people went for Doherty, didn't they, Jimmy? A lot of people went for Doherty at the back. It had a Tottenham clean sheet written all over that, but obviously weren't to be. But Tottenham a little bit concerned in that opening game. I
think the thing with Tottenham, mate, is, we say has a Tottenham clean sheet written all over it, but they don't keep clean sheets. It's more you think you've got Mourinho there, they should be keeping clean sheets, but they don't have the players. And I'm not convinced by Spurs. But I think when you look at Captain Russ's team, he's actually got a few players that were called out. I mean, Mitrovic, Patrick Vieira, you were on him, weren't you? You told us he was going to rock our world. That's why everyone was on him.
Yeah, if he gets...
on the bench.
If he was to play 90 minutes, he would have scored, 5 or 6 goals, but he only played like 10 minutes or something for some reason.
So 5 or 6 next week. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, man. And then below Captain Russ, bottom of the table, is our boy from the Mirror correspondent, Mr. Lawless, Matthew Lawless, and his Lawless FC team. I mean, he came last season. He's done well this season to consolidate that. He's last 22
got 2 West Ham players in there. West Ham, massive letdown, at home as well. Obviously, there's a negativity around the club at the moment as well. But he's gone for Antonio, which you would imagine not a bad shout, right, after how he finished the season. And Souček, he's been a popular one.
Should have scored, Souček. Should have scored.
He actually hit the bar, didn't he? Old Souček. He was in my team as well. So
he had an absolute sitter that he put wide as well. It was concerning.
Yeah, but just no fight. No fighting. When we did go 1-0 and then 2-0 down, we just didn't really look like we had anything different to offer. We were just sort of lumping it in the box and hoping for the best.
Looked like last season, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Nolan's in our backroom staff now, and he was best friends with Sam Allardyce, wasn't he? So he's just doing the old Sam Allardyce routine. But no, I'm hoping we'll nick a result against one of the big teams over the next few weeks, because we've got a tough run of fixtures.
Kevin Nolan in the back room, eh? He's probably getting the beers in, isn't he? No wonder you lost. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing I will say is he's a West Ham fan as well, Matty Lawless, and he's put his heart on his sleeve by, it's loyalty to West Ham. And I do this all the time with Man U. You just can't show it, can you, in fantasy? And
Yeah, it's tricky, especially West Ham, yeah.
Few disappointments though I would call out is he had Saka in the team. A lot of people are on Saka from Arsenal, never played.
The number 7, isn't he, in that Arsenal shirt? And I thought, but I guess that now they've got Willian in the side. They seem to have a pretty settled selection, first 11. But he did play in for pre-season a lot, so I think that's why a lot of people selected him.
Yeah, and he went for Batshuayi as well, which was a call from NVD.
I called out Zaha as well, to be fair, so
defended himself. I didn't play Batshuayi, it was Zaha. They sound the same.
Well, just to just to be clear as well, I said that the loan was potentially going to go through. I didn't say it didn't go through.
Yeah,
it might go through.
I caveated that, like I do in my daily job, just so I don't get in trouble.
Final. But there we have it anyway, ladies and gents and listeners. We have gone through the table in not record time, pretty long one actually. But you've got Sean John McGinn fanboy. You're sitting top, Sean, top of that, and the Scottish League as well. How are you feeling?
I don't know. The Scottish League's been tough this year. None of you guys even could pick a team in it.
But Scottish FPL, we just couldn't match you, mate. We knew we'd lose, so we didn't bother.
Oh yeah. So why did you bother signing up for this one then? Because it's going to be a similar story.
Okay, excellent. So, listeners, that's our table for the rest of the show today. We're going to have a quick review of the games again. Any standout players, standout teams. The boys will all have a quick whip round and say who impressed them. We then got the 1 clock, 1 flop from Sean, the John McGinn fanboy. Very popular segment last year. He'll be bringing that to us. Then we'll break for oranges for half time, maybe a bit of a pie, maybe even a beer. Who knows? And then we'll be back in the second half. Got a blinding rambling from the dugout that's come in. So that's one to look forward to. A nice Rambolino question from the dugout. And after that, we will look at the FPL podcast team. So you remember last week we have created a podcast team, a joint podcast team, which every single week will be managed by one of the pundits. This week was Ricky Pellegrini's turn. Let's see how he did. Quick spoiler, he did better than my team, but there we go. It will go on to Sean John McGinn fanboy this week, so we'll talk through that team as we look ahead at the games as well, give him some recommendations and some suggestions. So that all said, listeners, you know what's coming up, you know what to tune into. You might want to skip a bit if you're fed up with us, but I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're going to listen to the whole thing. From there, we're going to start with who impressed you. Sean John McGinn fanboy, you're top of the table. Who's impressed you game week 1?
You obviously can't shy away from a couple of big scoring games. Arsenal did well, right? 3 goals at home. I think that was a lot of surprise to people. Even playing Fulham, I think, but is that really something that's there to stay? You think there's value in their players, or is that just sort of, typical Arsenal, up and down when they want to be?
Well, the Arsenal fans think they're going to win the league again, like they did after the first game. I mean, 3-0 was a good result, and Aubameyang was looking tasty. But it was Fulham. Do you think Aubameyang's going to do it again?
I stayed away from him last year. I think I had him once or twice towards the end, but I don't know. He's just not consistent enough for me. It's a lot of money to shell out for inconsistency.
Who else impressed?
That Gabriel at the back was good, right? 15 points for him as well from Arsenal.
He was very good. Yeah, he was very good.
The other big result I thought was not surprising, but was Wolves continue their form from last season, right? And I think there's some value in their players. They did, but I watched the game earlier, and Sheffield United created a lot of chances again, right? They hit the post.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashed it up against there, and perhaps unlucky to get beat 2-0.
I do feel with Wolves though, if they've started well against Sheffield United, didn't have a great start last season. They had the Europa that was in the way, but then they've got West Ham next game and then Fulham. They could have a pretty tasty start, and then they got Leeds after that. I'm kind of, looking at our table, no one really went Jimenez. I'm starting to feel like Jimenez could shout. I
think it's difficult. They've got a few players in there, right? All about the same budget, about the same positions, and it's kind of difficult, right? I went Traore. Kind of stuck with him last season as well, and yes, he played well, but he only got 3 points, so not that great return, right? When you got him, yeah, size, he gets the 3 bonus points for them today, right? 1 goal, bonus points, up there. You've got Cody up there as well, getting a lot of points consistently in terms of bonuses. Difficult to pick and single out.
It is difficult to pick because I think they've got a wealth of riches, actually. I saw Neves was actually on the bench in this game, which you just wouldn't have heard of the last 2 seasons. They've started to amass a good team, I think, and Traore was looking good today, if anyone saw that game. He's just so quick.
But 3 points. He only got 3.
He only got 3, but he almost scored. And that could... I mean, yeah, all right, fine.
You've been around long enough, it counts for nothing, right?
It does count for nothing, yeah.
That lad Podence for Wolves was good as well. He's, set up the first goal for Jimenez. He looked great down the left-hand side. And he's only cheap. He's only 5.5 million. And then
probably a rubbish name, though, isn't he?
Got a crap name, yeah. That's the only thing.
Podence. Crap name. Anyhow, all right, Sean, thank you for that. Ricky Pellegrini, who impressed for you?
Yeah, I've got to say, there's one that was, stand out just from today, really. James at the back for Chelsea. I think he was brilliant on the right wing back position. He's obviously taking their corners as well, which is interesting. He got an assist through that. Scored an absolute screamer as well. So goal and an assist, yeah, and he was just involved with everything. With Chelsea going forwards, there's obviously a lot of talk about all the other players that are coming for Chelsea. Obviously, Timo Werner did look amazing. Wasn't so impressed with Havertz, I must admit, but obviously it's early days. But James was just getting up the wing, getting involved, and I think he's going to be a number one choice for Frank Lampard this season. So at 5 million for Chelsea, they're going to keep some clean sheets here and there. Dare I say it, even though the goalkeepers are awful. But yeah, I think he was one who stand out. Obviously, 14 points, one of the highest scoring defenders as well.
So, mate, interesting to hear that you said Werner selected by 48% of teams. You say he didn't look that good, or he needs more time to bed in.
No, I think Timo Werner looked good. I didn't like Havertz, the geezer who's playing up there with him for Chelsea. I wasn't that impressed with him, to be honest. I thought he was a bit in and out of the game. Didn't really look like he was going to affect too much. I'd much probably prefer Pulisic. I know he didn't play today. He must have picked up an injury, I think, before the game. But yeah, he's got quite a high price tag. He's at 8.5, so I don't know if he's going to justify that price tag for FPL. But Timo Werner, he looks like he's going to bag tons of goals. I think he's very quick, very hard to play against, I think he'll be one of the top scorers this season.
Patrick Vieira told us last week that Werner was going to take a while to perhaps get to the pace of the Premier League, which he didn't score.
I didn't say that. I said he hasn't been tested yet. So now he's been tested and
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think...
Like the media this show, mate, we take your words and we twist them. can't say anything like... No. Sorry, Ricky, carry on.
I was just going to say, I think Chelsea overall, I know there's obviously a lot of talk about them, but I really don't see them being title contenders. I think it's going to take a while, like it has, with Liverpool when Klopp first came in. It took a few years, right, to get up to that level. Same, even Pep's first season, coming in and bringing all those players together. Yeah. That's the hardest bit, just managing that new influx of players and managing the personalities. But Chelsea are going to do well. Obviously, going to be better than the previous season. But I still see it Liverpool or Man United. I think for this season personally.
Man United.
I see it doing well. They're sort of with Fernandes in midfield. I think he's going to be, one to just to carry on from last season. The only other player I would say is definitely Jimenez, actually, because he kind of goes under the radar a little bit. He's proven goal scorer the last few seasons. 8.5 million, not a bad price tag when you think about it, compared to the likes of Aubameyang and a few of the others. So he was pretty good. And of course, Callum Wilson against West Ham, he's only 6.5 million. He was the best player on the pitch against West Ham, to be honest with you. He's involved with everything. Dropping back to the midfield and just causing absolute havoc for the defence. So I think Callum Wilson's going to have a good season as well.
It's a very good shout. I did think he looked good as well. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Ricky. Moving on to Patrick Vieira.
I was going to echo what Ricky said with Newcastle and Callum Wilson. I thought he had a great start. But I think Newcastle have started off well, and they've even got some other players in there that I noticed, like Saint Maximin. I think he'll be a solid player for them too.
Yeah, he looked good.
But other than that, I think I'm just wondering if there's, what's the value with this Leeds team? I know it was a great game, but with this Patrick Bamford, who was, I think, their top scorer, last season in the Championship.
16 last season,
Yeah, I wonder if, and they're all, they're all on the cheaper side, inexpensive players. I wonder if there's real value in these Leeds players. But yeah, that's my